Steve and Joffe. How you doing, Steve?
Very good, thank you.
Good, good. It's Monday, and it looks like the sun's finally coming out. So
actually, it's Tuesday. It seems like it's Monday.
Oh, you know what? You're right. It is. Oh, jeez. It is Tuesday, and it feels like a Monday to me. Excellent. So I'm glad you could take the time with us today. Look forward to hearing more about your story and what your passions are. So let's dive right into it. Why don't we get started by talking a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Okay, well, the business that I have is assisted living locators. We provide a free service to seniors and families, offering them alternatives, independent living, assisted living, in-home care, adult day care, memory care. It really doesn't make a difference as far as the type of service we can provide. Again, it is a free service to those clients, whether it's the family or the senior member. And we just help guide them and provide advice to them to help them make that decision for their loved ones.
Okay. So what made you decide to go into a business like this?
Well, I was in transition and was looking for some business opportunities, and it really stemmed back to the spring of 2010. I was having a conversation with my mom, who just turned 86 a few weeks ago. And this was back in 2010, and she knew that I was looking for other alternatives than the work I was doing at that time. And she suggested that I look into business opportunity that was directed towards seniors. Of course, that type of thought process she had was a little bit different than what I had in mind, but yet it did make me much more in your market, and seniors in particular have a tremendous number of needs, both for information as well as assistance. And as time went on and I started looking at opportunities for the business, this option came along, and I thought it was a great match because I didn't have to charge these people for the services. It's a revenue stream that we derive through the communities that we place our clients in.
Okay. So I guess walk me through an experience. Like, what typically happens, with somebody that's, seeking the services that you provide?
Well, the easy ones, for instance, are the ones that have the foresight to have forward thinking. In other words, they're looking with their mom or dad or both of them. It's usually adult children who are championing that effort. And what happens is they're starting to recognize changes in mom or dad's lifestyle or their additional help and support for maintaining their quality of life. They're looking at a time frame, maybe a few months, where we do have the advantage of planning and being able to walk through all the steps with them and have them make a decision with time on their side. Then, of course, there are some that have their backs up against the wall where they've run into a medical issue or an emergency and are no longer, let's say, able to return home. And they have a very short time frame with which to make that decision. That's when our services really are of benefit to not only the senior but also to the family members, because it's very difficult for the family members not only to know whether the options they're looking at correct, whether they've done their due diligence, but for that matter, to be able to take time out of their lives to be able to go through this whole process. So we pretty much take that entire burden off of their shoulders, although there is some interest required of them.
Right. So plus, they're probably so focused on their circumstance, they don't really even know where to start, I'm sure.
Oh, sure. That's part of it. And just think of it. Let's say it's adult children with a family of 4. They've got kids who are active in school, whatever outside activities, and dad or mom may both be working. They may have a limited amount of time that they can take off from work, if that. And with all those different factors playing in, all of a sudden having to confront the situation where they've got to make a decision in a week or two that will dramatically affect the life of their parents.
Right. Wow, that's tough. So it sounds like a pretty important service.
Yes, it is.
to say the least. Pretty important. I mean, all kinds of factors, I'm sure. So I'm sure you've dealt with many situations in the past. What gets you most excited about what you do?
I think it's just being able to provide the services to the families and being with the resources that are available and be able to deliver a solution to them that truly does meet that desired need, so that they can walk away at the end of the day and feel 100% confident that their mom, dad, aunt, uncle, whoever it happens to be, is going to be able to live out their lives in not only in comfort but safety as well, and have the highest quality of life that they can afford.
Sure. So how long have you been doing this?
Well, I just opened this business a little over a year ago.
Okay.
So it's relatively new to me, although I've been helping out my mom several times a year down in Florida while she is fortunate enough to be able to live on her own. But it also brought to mind some of the things that I know we're going to have to confront as time goes on. Yeah. But I got started in this only because I had spent about 25 plus years in large corporations and middlemen to the health insurance business, worked with families, individuals, small businesses, delivering solutions for insurance to them. And then this really sort of piggybacked on that all.
Sure. So, even in the short time, I'm sure that, it's tough to kind of stay focused. It's tough to, stay on top of your game, and people have their own ways of just staying fresh and staying sharp. Can you share with us, what you do to kind of keep yourself focused and on track?
What I do mostly to keep on track is to try to, first of all, from a business standpoint, try to learn as much as I can about the business, about seniors, about the types of medical issues that they confront, not only medically, but also socially, what the family dynamics have to deal with, understanding what knowledge I need to be out through that whole process. On a personal level, I just try to stay physically in shape and do a lot of bicycle riding outdoors with other people on the road. So it does keep me very focused. And that does help a lot, because one of the things that cycling will do is, if you're riding with a bunch of people and you're working as a team, you really have to put all your other thoughts aside and focus on what you're doing at that time. Otherwise, not only are you becoming a danger to yourself, you could also endanger other people. So by having that discipline out on the road, it really does help to play back into the work, because when it's time to get down to the business, well, then you focus on the matter at hand, because you know that is going to net you the best result.
Excellent. So everyone should become a cyclist, is what you're telling me.
It's a good sport. And actually, it's not only a good sport, it's good regardless of what level of riding you are, whether you compete, again, go out and raise funds for charity, or whether you just go out as a family and enjoy time together in a social type of way. You can enjoy that sport every different way, in every different corner of the earth, whether it's on a road, whether it's on a bike path, whether it's just around the block in the neighborhood. It really does afford you opportunity to get out and, as they say, smell the roses.
And that's important to do, especially when you're running a company.
Yes,
people get so bogged down with the day-to-day that they forget those are kind of things that make it worthwhile. So that's why I like to ask that question, because you never know what makes people tick. So pretty interesting. So and I always like to ask this question too. So if you had to compile all the learnings that you've experienced over the years, whether it be in business or even in your career, as in corporate, and you were able to package that up and say, here you go, to give yourself that boost and that that momentum getting off the ground right away, what would you tell yourself at that point? What would you share?
really boils down to the discipline and being focused on what you're doing. I mean, regardless of whatever you do, you've got to truly have a passion for it. Even in the corporate world, if you're not passionate about the work that you do, you need to get out of it because you're going to be really doing yourself justice. You owe it to yourself as an individual to make the most of your life. And if you're not applying yourself wholeheartedly to it, well, then you're cheating yourself every day that goes by. It bothers me when people don't look forward to getting back to work on a Monday. Yeah, you don't want the weekend to end, as an example, or a holiday weekend to end. But in reality, that's just the nature of the game. You've got to work in order to be able to enjoy your playtime. When the work time comes around, you've got to be able to dig into it. And if you're not enjoying or get a satisfaction out of what you're doing, then you truly need to find something that does get you excited. And I think that was what made me look at this option for business even more and more, because I wanted to make sure that whatever business I went ahead and started, that I felt not only was there a real need for it, but that I could get excited about it on a daily basis, that I could get up on any day of the week, even on the weekends, and feel like it's not something I had to do, it's something I want to do.
Sure. Yeah, and it's so important to your point, because it's not always easy, and if you're not passionate about it and you don't want to do it during those times where, you kind of buckle down and just do it, it's easier to give up, and that's the last thing you want to do when you're especially in a service type business where people need you. I mean, to me, it's like if you're in a business that only needs you, you're not playing big enough. But if you're out there, trying to serve the masses, which is what you're doing. I mean, you're really trying to have an impact on more than one person out there. You giving up means that you're letting quite a few people down, and you got to really have that passion behind it. Otherwise, it's just not going to be there when you need it the most. So, I mean, that's great advice. Excellent advice. And it's funny because it comes out. I've done so many of these interviews, and it comes out in different ways every single time. I mean, that's the advice that everyone gives. So if anybody's watching, listen to these people.
We've, as they say, been there, done that.
Yeah. It's like you got all this experience to fall back on. They're not lying. It's true. So anyway, we're both a part of this Co-Opvertising network. That's why we're here. That's how we met. If you had the opportunity to kind of reach out and speak to everybody in the group and use them as a tool, whether it's a catalyst to kind of say, here's what I'm looking for, or, here's how I can help, what are some of the things that we can do for you?
I think the important thing is not to look at this as a networking opportunity. You need to look at it as a building relationship opportunity. As in anything, the more you read about networking is just a function. Building relationships is the task, and that's what you really need to do. Is the task is to understand and learn more about other people so that you can help them. The more that you learn about them, the more they're going to learn about you and how they can help you. And it may not be they're the ones who are helping you. They may have a neighbor or a friend or a relative that they say, you know what, I know so-and-so who does this, and I really am confident that they can help you out. Well, the only reason why they can say they're confident they can help you out is because they know you. Otherwise, they wouldn't say that. So to get to meet people, but it's really the follow-up and getting to build those relationships with them. And that's critical, I think, in any business. Even if you're working internally in a company and your client base or your customers are actually in the company themselves, it's to your advantage to get to know those people intimately because they'll have confidence in calling you and knowing that if you're trying to fix a problem for them or you're trying to deliver a service for them, that if it's not occurring as they might expect, at least they'll know that you're trying your best and that they're not going to get impatient with it, or they're less likely to get impatient with the time frame, because they know you're generally invested in not only in delivering that service, but also in helping them out. And it goes, every walk in life. You've really just got to become familiar and work with people and who you are and what you do. And it doesn't have to be just all about business. You can tell them about some personal things that are very important to you. They'll tell you the same thing. You can be sure they're going to share that because they know that's how you're going to remember them. There's a lot of Marys out there. There's a lot of Johns out there, but it's the John who delivers such and such a service, who has this passion about something and also does this on the side, that you're going to remember more than all the other Johns or all the other Marys.
Right. Exactly. And that's really the whole point of doing this, is to help people try to get to know the people on more of a personal level. Because, you're right. You're exactly right. There's so many people that do exactly what you do in many ways, shapes, or forms. And people don't really care what you know until they know that you care, right? Everybody's heard that. And what better way of doing that than investing time? It's
right. Exactly.
And
in fact, what we do in our business that really sets us apart, there are a number of businesses that are in this space. So deliver type of referral service and advice for seniors. But what really sets us apart is that we become fully engaged with the family and with the family members. We're with them throughout the whole process. We're even ongoing follow-up so long as that senior member is, let's say, in a assisted living community, whatever it happens to be. We want them to understand that we invested time in them, and we want to make sure that they feel comfortable enough that if any questions come up or any concerns, to feel free to contact us, because we're part of their care team. We're not just someone who comes along and says, well, I've got these ideas for you. Here they are. Go on and shoo you off on your merry way. We're actually setting up the tours for the client. We're going on those tours with the client. We're sitting down with them afterward, helping them to assimilate all the information so that when it comes time to make a decision, which they are the ones who have to make, we don't make the decisions, but when they have to make that decision, that they've got all the information, that they've hit on all bases, so that they can move forward and feel confident that not only have they made the right decision, but if something comes up, they can turn around to us and say, hey, got this question, we've got this issue, or mom and dad have changed, how would you handle, or what might you advise to us? That's what we want them to understand, is that we're there ongoing.
Excellent. So if someone were trying to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
They can either give us a call, they can reach out to us on our website, they can email us. Either way, all different methods of getting through.
Do you want to get out your phone number? Or?
Oh, sure. Okay. Sure. The phone number is area code 331-208-5041. My email address, and that's fine. You can just email me directly, Stephen J, S-T-E-V as in Victor, E-N, J as in Joffe, at assistedlivinglocators.com. And our website is 150.com.
Can you say that again? You were breaking up.
Our website is 150.assistedlivinglocators.com.
Excellent. Well, I encourage everyone to get a hold of Stephen if you're in a situation where you need some assistance and don't know where to go. Your loved ones have hit that point in life, and it sounds like they can do a lot of good for you. So give Stephen the call. But that's all the time we have, and I really appreciate you taking the time today to kind of share your story and tell us what you're about. I'm sure people will connect at some level.
Looking forward to helping anyone out. Again, it's you just may have a concern about a family member. Reach out to us. It's not going to cost you a thing. And as far as the advice, all we're really trying to do is help steer you in the right direction.
Excellent. Well, yep. So look for Stephen on the network, and for everyone else, we'll see you online soon. Thanks a lot.